Wonderful. All right, so today our plan is a little different from our previous webinars as we have not only one excellent speaker, but two speakers on the agenda. What we're going to do is we're going to start off. We're very fortunate to have Ms. Caitlin Kinzer, the social media and digital content manager from the American College of Sports Medicine, join us. So this is the person who really runs all of ACSM's social media, outward-facing communications to more than 65,000 members around the world. So we thought we'd bring in the expert and start us off with that. Following Caitlin, we have Anna and Gosia, two Gosias from EIM Poland. And I thought it would be perfect to have them follow up because I really truly think they are a wonderful model in terms of social media and creating awareness across their entire country. I think you all will be amazed at the job they do in Poland. So we're gonna have the two speakers. Each of them will speak for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna have 15 to 20 minutes where we'll have questions and answer period. If you're familiar with Zoom, or if you're not, at the bottom, there's a chat icon. Please feel free to chat, put up questions, put up comments, interact throughout the presentations, and any questions that are posted, we'll do our best to get to them at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Ms. Caitlin Kinzer. The floor is all yours.
All right, thanks, Mark. As Mark said, my name is Caitlin, and I handle all of the social media and digital content for ACSM. And that includes not only just the ACSM organization itself, but everything that is associated with that. So that includes Exercises Medicine, includes the American Fitness Index, and all of the journals that we publish, as well as our events, such as the annual meeting. So I'm sorry that I couldn't see you all at the annual meeting this year, but glad that we can be doing this instead. So I'm going to start off today by just talking you guys through some very basic social media 101, how to set up a strategy for social media in your country to promote Exercises Medicine and the great work that all of your various organizations are doing. So if I can, here we go. All right, so there are 3 steps to creating a basic social media strategy, and we're going to go through all 3 of these in detail. But the first step is to define a goal. The second step is determining your target audience, so who you're trying to reach. And the third step is choosing your platform. So which platform or medium are you going to use? So that would be something like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or a large variety of other platforms that are available globally. So step 1, and this should always be the very first step before you create a social media profile, before you add any content, is defining your goal. And so we always start with a question of why. Why are you using social media? Ultimately, what are you trying to achieve, or what do you want to do with social media? So there could be a lot of potential answers to this, including you might be trying to create general awareness to share information. You might be trying to get people specifically to come to your website to read more information, or maybe to download something. Or you might be trying to get people to register for an event, whether it's a virtual event like a webinar, or hopefully in the future we'll be able to have our in-person events again, and you're trying to get them to register for an in-person event. Those are just some of the goals. There could be a number of different other goals. So I put on here, for an example, ACSM social media goals. So as an organization, the American College of Sports Medicine uses social media for 2 clear purposes. The first is to engage all of our members and certified professionals around the world with timely and relevant information, meaning we want to make sure all of our members and our certified professionals have information, have data that they would see as important and that they see as being directly relatable to the things that they are doing in their jobs every day. The second is to position ACSM as the authority in the field of sports medicine and exercise science. So what that means is that we make sure that the general public understands that ACSM is an organization that they can come to for expertise in this area, to talk with our subject matter experts, to find research, and to get questions answered. So after you determine why you want to be active on social media, you have to think about who. Who specifically are you trying to reach? And we'll want you to get really specific with this. So that could include people who live in a certain location. Obviously, we're all in different countries around the globe, so you're probably looking specifically to target people within your country, but even more specifically, are you looking to target people within a certain city or a certain region? Sometimes, particularly if it is for an event, you might be looking to make that a smaller geographic location. Are you looking to target people in a certain age range? Is your information for adults? Is it for children? Teenagers? Gender identity, such as male or female? Socioeconomic status, or job role. Maybe you're looking to target people who do a specific job. Maybe you're looking to target doctors. Are you looking to target health fitness professionals like personal trainers? Are you looking to target the general public with a message? So really determining who it is you're trying to reach can help you to create this strategy that you're going to use moving forward. Finally, step 3 of developing a strategy is going to be choosing the platform or platforms that you're using and where are you going to share your content. Again, as I mentioned, this is going to be different for all of us because the folks in every country around the world use social media very differently. They use different platforms. So here in the US, we use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as well as Pinterest. And YouTube, sorry. Some of those platforms I know are available to many of you, but also some of your countries, particularly those of you who are in Asia, and I know that there are a lot of you joining us today, a lot of you in your countries, they have their own social media networks that we don't have access to here in the US. So those social media networks might be something that you want to use. For example, I know some of you don't have Facebook, but you have an alternative that your country uses specifically. So there is really no right or wrong answer as to which platform or platforms that you're using, but you just want to make sure that you're being aware of what platforms can help you move towards your goal of, again, so for example, if your goal is to send people to your website, Instagram may or may not really be a great tool to send people to your website because there's not a lot of opportunity to link in Instagram for people to click on a link. It's only in your bio. So Instagram might be better for sharing general information and creating awareness. But if you want to get people to come to your website, you need to use a social media platform that allows you to click on a link and to go to that website. So thinking about using that goal as well as that key audience to help you decide which platform. Because again, not all audiences use all platforms. So here in the US, when we use Facebook, Facebook tends to be a little bit older. So older adults, middle-aged adults tend to use Facebook much more often. So if I'm trying to reach people who are 30 years or older, I might use Facebook. If I'm trying to reach teenagers, I will probably want to use Instagram because that is how people in our country tend to use those social media platforms. And again, it's going to be different for all of you. There are many ways that you can find out who uses which platforms in your countries. There are a lot of different resources for that. But I want to remind you guys, if that's something that you are struggling with or that is difficult for you, you can always reach out to me. I'll make sure, Mark, Robin, Shelby all have my email address. I'll make sure you all have my email address. If you're having trouble figuring out what platform you should be using, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help you do research as to which platforms are most used in your country. So once you have a strategy developed, once you know your goal, your audience, and your platform, what are you going to post? And so this is what we refer to as content. And content is everything from a tweet to a YouTube video and anything in between. So it's something that you create and share with your audiences. And so one quick note that is a bit of a strategy thing, but your content should always include written and visual components as much as possible. So if you're using Twitter, for example, you want to write text for your tweet, but you also want to have some kind of an image, whether it's a photo, a video, a GIF, some type of image to go along with that. And that's really true for all of the platforms, because that image is what's going to stop people. Again, regardless of what platform you're using, people scroll through a feed. You know, if I've got my smartphone and I'm scrolling through, there's a lot of content from different organizations, as well as from all my family and friends who I'm connected with on that platform. Something needs to catch my attention and make me stop my scroll. And just text alone is not likely to be able to do that, because my brain isn't going to process that text quick enough to stop me mid-scroll. A really striking image or a video is much more likely to stop me. So when we're talking about what we're going to post, everything that you post should have some type of value for your audience members. And when I say value, it usually gives one of these topics that I have here in this bottom, on this bottom. So is that content educating or informing someone? Is it entertaining them? So is it making them laugh? Is it making them cry? Is it shocking or surprising? So a lot of times we will use this tactic actually with exercises, medicine, social media, to share facts that people may not have known. You know, did you know that physical activity can reduce your likelihood of developing X disease by this percentage? People may be really surprised by that. The valuable content could inspire an action. So an action might be, you know, to join a webinar. It might be to share this post with your friends. It would just inspire them to do something, to take action with your post, as opposed to just seeing it and then moving on with their day. Valuable content can also create an emotional connection. So if I see something on social media that I feel speaks to me personally, then my attitude might change towards the person or the organization that has posted that content. For example, if Exercise Medicine posts something about breast cancer, and maybe I have someone in my family who is affected by breast cancer, then I am going to see Exercise Medicine as a tool and a resource for my family member with breast cancer. So it's created an emotional connection for me, because it's information that's important to somebody that I care about. So the concept that I want to talk you guys through today is called social currency. And ultimately, when you're creating posts, what you want to do is create social currency. But what does that mean? The best way for you to reach audiences, to expand your reach, so to get more people to follow your pages, to get more people to like and click on your posts, the best way to do that is for people to share your posts. And across all the various platforms, there are different ways. It could be a retweet, it could be a share, it could be a repost, or it could be a simple copy and paste a link and send it to someone. There are always ways to be sharing the things that you're putting out there. And so how do you inspire people to share your content? And that's by creating social currency. Social currency is the concept that I will share content that makes me look good to people in my social circle. So it's usually because the content is providing one of the values that I just talked about. It's educating, it's entertaining, it's inspiring me, it's driving me to create or to complete an action. A great example of this is my friend comes to me and says, Caitlin, I really want pizza tonight. Pizza sounds great. Where should I get pizza? And I tell them, oh, I love this restaurant. They have the best pizza in town. Order their pizza for sure. My friend orders their pizza. They love it. They think it's great. They come back and tell me, I ordered pizza from that place you recommended. It was delicious. Thank you so much. I love that. We've all had experiences like that, right? That gives me social currency because now my friend thinks about me as a person who can give them advice on where to get good food, right? They took my advice was true. The pizza was good. And so that gives me social currency. So that's what we want to try to create with everything that we post. We want to make our audience members look good. We want to make them look smart. We want to make them look interesting. We want to make them look funny. Whatever the goal of your piece of content is, if someone shares that with someone that they know or love, it makes them look good to that other person for sharing it. So this concept of social currency it takes a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error, which is completely fine. But this is the best way to really expand your audience, to get more people to follow you and to get more people to engage with your content. So I'm just going to finish this up with a couple of examples of the things that I've talked about straight from ACSM social media. So this is a recent post from ACS. These are all posts from ACSM's Facebook page, but they're doing a variety of things. So when you're looking at this post, it says, looking for ways to change up your stay-at-home fitness routine? ACSM has a number of resources to help you stay active during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's followed by a link, and it also includes an image. So what's the goal of this post? Going back to strategy number 1, what's the goal? We're trying to get people to go to our website to read, to access our resources, to read blog posts, to look at infographics. So we have enticed them by telling them we're going to give them something if they go to the website and click on the link. What is the value? As we all know, all around the world, people are still at home and can't go to gyms, or they're not comfortable going to gyms because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So there's value in me telling the general public, in any person who's reading this, if you need help staying active at home, we're going to help you, so click on this link. So the goal is to get people to our website. The value to my audience is helpful, free resources to keep you physically active. This is example number 2. So this is working towards a slightly different goal. This is obviously an older post that was created before we had to cancel the annual meeting. But the goal of this post is to tease a blog post that's on our website. And that blog post is talking about sessions that were going to occur at the annual meeting. So the goal of this post ultimately is to get people to register for the annual meeting. So this is asking people to take action on something. And what is the value? The value here is that I'm telling people exactly what they're going to get if they register for the annual meeting. It's enticing to them because it's talking to a very specific audience. It's talking to an audience that's interested in fitness assessment, exercise training, and athlete performance. So again, this goes kind of back to when we're talking about audience job role. these are people who are in very specific job roles that are interested in these outcomes. So I'm talking directly to those audience members, telling them that we have value for them if they come to our event. And finally, this is our last example, and this is actually one of the most popular pieces of content we have shared on social media in a long time. And this is an infographic about monitoring aerobic exercise intensity. So what is the goal here? The goal of sharing this infographic, this is pure awareness. We want people to know this information. We want people to be able to use this information in their everyday life and to benefit from it. Ultimately, that kind of speaks back to one of ACSM's original goals of positioning ourselves as experts and an authority in this field of exercise science. This supports that goal because this shows how much our organization is involved in helping people to reach their physical activity goals. What's the value of this? There's a ton of information on this graphic that people don't need to leave Facebook to get, right? They can go and they can download the graphic from our website, but they don't need to leave Facebook to see all of this information. So ultimately the value here is pure information to help people live a better life and be more physically active. So I hope that these examples were helpful for you to see maybe some of the different combinations of goals and values that you can be giving to, goals that you might be setting for your organization, and different types of value that you can be presenting to your audience members through social media posts. So I'm going to turn it back over to Mark. I know you guys are going to see some more examples of this, and we will be able to answer questions at the end.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kaylin. That was a perfect way to get us started this morning, and I think a great lead in to our presentation from EIM Poland. So ladies, please feel free to share your screen, and the floor is yours now. All right. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, okay. So we are here, and we will...
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. We would like to share our experience on our Polish social media. We have almost all of these profiles. Some of them are younger, some of them are a little bit longer. We have it. One moment. I don't know how to. Oh, here maybe. Yeah, I have it. Okay. So the oldest one is our Facebook. So we can see it here. We have about 3,000 of followers on the Facebook. We have this profile for I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. But as an exercises medicine, it is 3 years profile. And then we have Instagram. We have Instagram for 1 year and a half. And now we have about 1,000 followers. But on these 2 profiles, it's still growing. So for example, during the last week, we have about 50 new followers. So I think that it is really great result. On LinkedIn, we decided to do something else because we have profile of exercises medicine, but this profile is not important for us. The most important profile is Gosia's profile because we used LinkedIn we don't use it as a social media profile, but Gosia will tell you about it a little bit. And then we have, this is really a new one because we always have a big fear, I don't know why, using the Twitter. So we have this profile for 4 months and till now we have almost 200 followers. Of course, we have the YouTube profile too, and we have really a great response in this profile. But this response we have built because our cooperation with National Health Fund and our latest project. So, why you do it? Why we do it? Because Caitlin said it earlier, but you know, we want people to know that physical activity, it is a very important part of their life. So we share the knowledge on our profile, and we would like to change the thinking of people in Poland that exercise is medicine and physical activity, it is very important part of their lives. And of course, on social media, it is very, very important to make people feel better. So we would like to create very positive emotions of our followers to share the information that make them happier a little bit. And in the end, we would like them to take some action, to be more active. So we don't think that we must choose the people, the audience of our profiles, because we have so many profiles, and each of the profile is we reach not the same audience. So we think that it is important to not only to fitness professionals, to doctors, but to society, because in the end, society must be or should be more active. What content we publish? Of course, we inform people about our projects, which are currently running, what we are doing in this project, why we do this project, and what the project concerns. So it is very important information. Of course, it is very important to share some scientific information. Links to interesting papers, to interesting infographics, and of course here we use ACSM links because you are really great help for us, because ACSM has very good profiles, very good resources with scientific information. This is very important here in Poland too. Of course, we publish some news because the profile must live. People should see that we constantly doing something, and we publish some not very private information, of course, but a little bit private information, because this profile makes more alive. When we show that, for example, we had the workout, and for example, we are exhausted after this workout. So this show people that we do what we are talking about. And this increase our trustworthiness. So I think that this is very important. And of course, we have partners, and we share the post of our partners. I think that it is very good idea to reach more our audience when we have some partners, because when we cooperate, we share their posts and they share our posts, and we reach more people on our profiles. And this is some example of the projects. This is the project with National Health Fund, and we mark here the Academia NFZ. This is the YouTube channel of National Health Fund, and this is the television program here, and we describe what it is the project, what we will do in this project, and how we do it. For example, recommendations. This is, I think that you know all these graphics. This is in Poland, or in Polish, of course, but I am sure that you know what is it. This is our activity during the COVID pandemic. So we translate, and this is recommendation for Polish people too, how to be active during this pandemic. We had really great reach of this posts about the exercise during the pandemic. But I think that we all have the huge reach in such projects because people are was interested in this informations. And this is some kind of news. We have been invited to be lecturers in the Congress of Lifestyle Medicine, and because of the COVID, it was cancelled. So we informed that it was cancelled, and the new term, the new date was established. So there's some news. And here you see Gosia and our friend during the exercising. So it is some private information that the girls are active. So our audience should be active too, of course. How we publish, in what form we publish. As you told us, Caitlin, we use all this kind of possibilities. So we use some photos, some infographics, some posts with the links, and I think that it is a very important part, the films, because films now, it is very trendy. People love films on the Facebook, on the Instagram, and other kind of profiles. It catch them on our profile, these films. So I show a little part of this film. This is now our project Active Family. We show how you should be active with your whole family. Okay. How often we publish? So on Instagram, Instagram is for a little bit younger people, but we have such followers among the young doctors. They are very interesting in our activities. So I think that it is really great because they will be, or some students, medicine students. Because of this, we have this profile, and of course, some fitness professionals, younger. So in Insta stories, we must publish content every day because it disappeared after one day. But we publish only one post during the week. On Twitter, it is 1-2 times during the week. On the Facebook, 2 or 3 times. But on LinkedIn, it depends. When you publish more than that you see, these platforms block your content. So I think that it isn't a good idea, because when we tried to publish more on our Facebook, for example, every day, we have feedback from our followers that they couldn't see our posts. So it is. I think that it is a good idea to publish this in this frequency. But of course, we haven't got any scientific background to provide this profile. So it is our intuition that we see that this is the best way to publish this. All these things. And here we have, publish not only something, but we plan for example, for the next month. We plan the projects which we would like to share with people. This is a very important project, I think, that because we think that it will be a good idea to show people more precisely what it is be active during you have chronic diseases. So we start from our fact sheets about it, everyone. We translate some of them, and we use it for the all month information. how we plan this. The first one, it is, for example, what is it, this illness? Here is osteoarthritis, and the March was dedicated to osteoarthritis, all March. Of course, on April and on May we had a break because of the COVID, but now in the June we start with obesity. So I'll show you. Oh, this is what is it, this illness. Here, this is the first post. Now, how to start. And this is the film, and I share the information. What is it, this illness on eye of the doctor?
Właśnie dlatego trzeba ćwiczyć, bo one dzięki temu będą mniej bolały, będą mniej sztywne, unikniemy niepełnosprawności pewnie za ileś tam lat, ale zawsze jest to ważne. Tak też mówią badania, że ćwiczenia, aktywność fizyczna regularna zmniejsza ryzyko w ogóle zachorowania, czy to na łuszczycowe zapalenie stawów, czy na reumatyzm.
It was only 40 seconds film, so I think that's not longer. Here we have some scientific information for doctors. Here it is, and now it's the advice of the trainer.
Obserwuj siebie. To ty wiesz najlepiej, kiedy możesz bezpiecznie ćwiczyć. Obserwuj swoje ciało. Obiecuję, że z każdym kolejnym treningiem będziesz czuć się lepiej i twój ból będzie powolutku się minimalizował.
And the kinds of trainings that you should do with this illness. This is the post of our partner. We have a logo here. This is about the diet during the osteoarthritis, and here some exercises. And another kind of workouts that you can use, and this is the summary of the projects. So we would like to have 1 year or 2 years about the physical activity during the chronic diseases. Here, yeah, okay. Oh, once again. And here we have LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is my part.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is our next tool to communicate about what we do and how we do it. LinkedIn is focused on create professional and business contact. We have 528 contacts. On LinkedIn, we have contacts, not friends. The profile consists of professional information. The service create for professional and business contacts and characterized by typical features. For example, blog on other channel promotion, possibility and adding valuable publication, for example, articles which concerning on medicine, sport, healthy lifestyle and healthy care. Reference, ability to conform skills. Next. On LinkedIn, we have contacts. LinkedIn is based on establishing contacts useful in professional life. We are looking for partners to organize, for example, exercises, medicine congresses, press conference, contacts with journalists, and medical and sport experts. The best post of LinkedIn was exercise for cancer prevention and treatment.
You can't notice.
This is that. The post had 11,933 and 224 recommendations. We always tag our partners under the publication, for example, American College Sport of Medicine, and people who are related to our activities. We improve our internet reach.
So this is a very important part of our activities, because there we are looking for sponsors for our activities. And the next one, it is Instagram. As you see, we have here 1,000 followers. We have this profile 1.5 years. It is our goal is younger audience, of course, and more active audience. And we have many followers here, which is medical students, dietitian students, and fitness professional. They are younger. So. In our profile photo we have always our logo. It is very important to have here logo, and in the name we use Exercises Medicine Poland. So here we have description. It is it is something that that people should encourage to click follow. It should be something interesting but very short. And here you see the link. It is only one link that you have on Instagram. It is in the bio. But it is changeable. So you can change it when you, for example, organize some webinar. When we organize the webinar, this one here, we change it for the registration link. So it is useful, but not so much. So as you told Caitlin, it is very important that here are no links, and in Instagram really never sleeps. We must post them regularly, and of course here when you see on your Instagram the red circle, it means that it's something new in the relation in Insta story. And before I didn't know it, but on Instagram, it is the most important part of Instagram here, this Insta stories, because people scroll the Instagram using the Insta stories, not posts. Post it is something additional on Instagram. Here, of course, we have posts, we have films, but you must know that on Instagram, you can have only 60 seconds film, not longer. And of course, this Instagram stories, it is only for 24 hours, and then it disappears. So it is important to remember about this. We have, of course, gallery, and it is possibility to organize some video live, but we hadn't do it yet because I think that we haven't got enough courage to do it. But maybe in the future we will do. Okay, and of course, we publish there regularly. All the day we have something in our Insta story. It could be one post only, one relation, but it is important to have something there. And this is this platform when you use hashtags. We use our own, for example, Be Fit, fitness, exercise is medicine, or something like this, and the popular on Instagram, because using the hashtags send people to our profile. When we publish the photo, we always go tag this photo because it is I don't know, it is people like it on Instagram, so we do it like other people. And of course we try to encourage people to be active on our profile by asking questions, create some questionnaires, create some quiz, or some countdown to the events. And this is the profile where we must use the icons and GIFs and mark other profiles. Of course, you should repost, but this reposting is not so important on Instagram. We use such hashtags, and the hashtags is very important on Twitter and on Instagram. Of course, we have some Polish hashtags too. I show here our English language hashtags. We use all this. It depends on the post and on the relation, but almost all we use. And this is some examples of our post. You see here the feed. Here some photos with energy. The photos should have really energy. And you see here the same infographic than on Facebook. It is important too, because when we have some projects, we show people this project on all our profiles. in some new content, but infographics are the same to show people that this is the same. And here we have the Insta stories, and it is very good to see it when you have such mess on the Insta stories. People like to look at some mess on this Insta stories. We have some questions, some repost relations, some quiz to do. And here we have, and you see that it is so many things. Everything is in moving, and I see that people love this mess. And here we have the same infographic than on Instagram. So this project lasts on all our media profiles. And the last one, the newest one, we have the Twitter from the September. We have only 180 followers till now, but this is network of conversation. This is something else. We use there only 140 characters on the tweet. We couldn't publish longer. We couldn't edit this tweets, so we must be very careful because before publish we can only delete the tweet, and of course sometimes it's too late to delete this tweet. This is discussion and information sharing, and as I said, short, really short information. In Poland we have on the Twitter adults are more educated and from larger cities. So we use this profile to contact the public institution, governmental institutions, NGOs. In our followers, we have, I think almost all, this is some persons, some from the public and governmental institutions. And there we build our brand as an expert in physical activity in Poland. But I would like to show you this one. It is my tweet from the March in the beginning of the pandemic in Poland. We do it really, we have some intuition, but we are not such expert in social media. So sometimes something is very surprised for us because this is not post about physical activity. It is about that I start to run the telephone consultation as a doctor. And it is all, and I have the photo with my protective protect against the COVID, and we have really, this is the greater number of likes here. So sometimes these posts are very a surprise for us. So I think that it is very important not to be afraid about the social media, because social media is for all. We must try. Sometimes it is very surprised that we have so many followers and so many likes, and sometimes you think that, oh, wow, it will be a great post, and no one like it. So it depends. And we try to do the best to promote the physical activity in Poland using all these profiles. So thanks a lot.
Virtual clapping, I see some clapping. That was fantastic from both Caitlin and the EIM Poland team. You know, one thing I really liked, Anna and Gosia, is in every slide and every post, you had the Exercises Medicine logo. You were branding, you were getting it out there. I think that's just absolutely fantastic. So if you have questions, you know, put them in the chat room, and then that might be the easiest way. I'll start things off with a question. Caitlin, I'll throw it to you first, and then maybe we'll see what Anna has to say second. But I noticed in some of the Poland tweets and posts, there's a lot of text. And I have no idea, is this a good thing, a bad thing? What is your opinion on, or recommendations on thinking through how much text to include with your different posts?
It depends because for example, when we share something, when we share the link to some article, I always wrote the short description. But when we would like to explain something, sometimes it is better to publish longer posts because people are a little bit lazy. So when they have all information on our Facebook, they are happy. They have all knowledge during 1 minute. So sometimes it is very okay.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Anna said. So it's going back to, what is your goal? Do you want people to just get the information? Because if you want to make sure that they have the information, putting all of that out there in the post itself so that they don't have to leave the social media platform can be really effective. But if your goal is to get them to your website so that they can learn more, then you want to probably be shorter with that text because you kind of want to tease them, right? This is what you will learn when you click on the link. And then they will go to see that. So again, it kind of goes back to what your goal is. But yeah, I think Anna was spot on with that.
Excellent. I don't see any questions. I had a second question. So, when Caitlin, in your presentation, you talked about reaching different audiences through different social media platforms. And I think that was perfectly reflected in the EIM Poland presentation. Now, Anna and Gosia, when you put out your posts, are you doing the same information in each, or are you customizing your information for each of your 4 social platforms?
We try to customize it because it is, for example, on Facebook we have adults a little bit older, so the information must be more serious, I can tell. But on Instagram we have younger audience, so we must do some icons, some emoticons, and to catch the eye on this. So yeah, we try to do it. And of course, on LinkedIn, there is very serious information only.
Caitlin, do you want to comment on that? Just the different examples that you saw EIM Poland use?
Yeah, I think Anna and Gosia really know what they're doing when it comes to strategy and engaging different audiences on different platforms. We use a lot of the similar tactics with ACSM. So we might want to be sharing the same piece of information on Facebook where we can explain a little bit more. But again, we're thinking about a potentially older audience, where if it's on Instagram, I really need to focus my attention on picking the right image, right? The right image that's going to make them stop scrolling. And then the text is kind of secondary, right? So, you want to get the same message across, but depending on how the platform works, again, with Instagram being image forward, it's all about choosing the right image in your feed versus on, in Twitter, it might be about making sure you have the right hashtag to get to the audience. If you're trying to join a larger conversation about a topic that's already happening, for example, hashtag COVID-19, if it's information related to the pandemic, it's really important that you have that right hashtag in there. So making sure that you understand whatever platform you're using, making sure that you understand how that platform works, and then maximizing the way you create your post to get you the largest reach on that specific platform.
So I have a question. This is Robin. I have a question for either of you. For new countries that don't have any social media, how would you recommend, starting, with one platform or a couple, depending on who you want to reach? And then for Anna and Gosia, what amount of time does it take to do all of this? And so, of course, that might make you decide to do one versus another, depending on how much time you have. So those are kind of 2 questions.
Okay, I think that that the most easiest it is Facebook, because Facebook is for all people and all people has the Facebook. So when we start with something, I think maybe I am too old for Instagram. I don't know, but I think that it is the easiest part. Our Gosia, who we see on the another screen, is the better expert. Yeah, this is Gosia. Is the better expert from our social media. Yeah, it takes much time. I can say it because, for example, Instagram, we not all day working on the social media, but we must have it in our mind. Because when, for example, I go running outside, I stop for a moment. Oh, yes, I haven't got any Insta stories. So I stop.
Good moment.
Yeah, it is a good moment. And for example, I have a good sun, or good weather. So I take a photo and put it to the Insta story. When we start eating something, for example, healthy, we take a photo and put it to the Insta story. So it takes not so much time, but you must think about it all the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I always recommend, if you're getting started, if you don't have any social media platforms, just to pick one to start and learn how that platform works. Again, if you choose Twitter, you need to learn about hashtags. If you choose Instagram, you need to learn about images and hashtags and how their stories work. It is all about making sure that that platform is optimized, I would say, or doing as much as you can on that one platform, because it's much better to have one platform that you do really well than to have 3 or 4 platforms that are just okay, right? Because to Anna's point, it does take time, and you do have to constantly be thinking about it. There are, some tricks that you can do in terms of what we call batching content, where you might write your Facebook posts for the next couple of weeks and you can schedule them in advance. There are some tools. So Facebook will allow you to do that, to schedule just on Facebook. You can write a post and you can schedule it to post later. But other things like Twitter or Instagram, if you want to do something like that, you have to use another tool to help you do that scheduling. You can't just schedule it in the app or on their website. You have to use a third-party tool, something like a Hootsuite. Hootsuite is really great. It's what we use at ACSM. So I would highly encourage those of you who are just starting out to just pick one platform and spend a lot of time on that one platform. Learn about your audience, learn how that platform works, try new things, see what goes over well, see what people interact with versus what they don't interact with. And then as you get comfortable with that, and if you feel you have more time, then would expand to a second platform or a third platform after that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent advice there. And I know with some of our social media, we've linked things where what goes on Facebook also goes on Instagram or vice versa. And I believe we use Hootsuite. Last question of the day is from Mandy. She asked about Boost Post feature on Facebook. Caitlin, you're nodding your head. Why don't you jump in first?
Yeah, so when you start to talk about paid social, so when you put money behind a post, you have to be really strategic with it. So it can absolutely help you reach new and larger audiences. But again, because you're spending extra money on it, you want to be very strategic. So for a great example of something you might want to boost, you usually want to boost something that's maybe already getting a lot of good organic attention. And then it's going to be much more effective if you can put a little bit of money behind it, even if it's just like $20 behind your post to expand. When you get into paid social, you have to start thinking very, very specifically about who you are trying to reach. Because when you boost a post, it's not just, oh, $20 and it's supposed to get it to everybody. right? You have to go in the way the platforms work to specifically say who you are trying to reach. So you have to have a very good idea of who your audience is. You have to tell them where your audience is. You have to tell them what age your audience is. You have to tell them if your audiences have particular interests. So when you start to get into anything that you're going to put money behind and pay for, you want to make sure you really have a strong strategy. You know what your goal is and you know who you are trying to target, because that audience is very, very important when you start adding money to the posts.
Yeah, we pay for the post very, very rarely. It is some ads about, for example, our Congress, and it is all. We don't use this skill.
Caitlin, I want to finish just one last question here from Dr. Mia.
Yes.
Do you know anything about return on investment related to social media? And you know, if they were to put money into this, do you think it's a good value for them from your experience?
Yes. Yes, there is a lot of really good value that you can get from paid social. Again, it's one of those things you have to have a really strong strategy and know why you're doing it in order to get that ROI. So it's one of those, you know, paid social is one of those, if you have never used it before, I would highly, highly encourage you guys to email me and let me help you get that set up the first couple of times you try it, because I want you guys, anytime you're putting, I know everybody's budgets and funds are limited, and if you're going to spend money on something, I want you to get as much value as you can. So I would highly encourage, and I'll pop my email in the chat to make sure everybody has it. I would encourage you guys to email me and let me kind of help you get that set up if you've never tried it before.
All right, well, that's it. I mean, I think we could go forever. I will include, when I mail out the link to this presentation, Robin suggested we include the slides. We can do that. We'll include Caitlin's email address. Everybody can contact her. I will say we've been inspired, EIM Global. We want to start a Facebook group, so at least we can connect everybody within our network. So be on the lookout for that in the future, because we want to try and increase communication amongst national centers so we can better share ideas and what we're doing. But Caitlin, a tremendous thank you. Anna, Gosia, as always, fantastic work. And our biggest webinar to date, we had up to 35 people on at one time. Thank you all for attending, and have a great week. And I hope you can use a lot of this in your work in the future. So I'm going to stop recording.